Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our program spotlights people in our community who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission and your host. The commission is a city board that seeks to promote equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. My guest today is Darin Ford, the founder of Men of Courage International. Darin, welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, let's start by talking about the mission of Men of Courage International. What's that about?
Well, our mission at Men of Courage International is to end fatherlessness in our community and to strengthen and enrich families. And we're really excited about being a part of this cause because we know that it's a huge need right now. And we're so grateful that we can be a part of the solution of making fathers stronger in the families and in our communities and making families stronger within the communities, because we believe that if you have a strong family, you're going to have a strong community.
Okay. What inspired you to create the organization?
There are three things that come to mind. One is my own life experiences. Myself being also an athlete, I had the opportunity to start a club in the city, and I was surrounded by other like-minded men who wanted to better themselves. And in those conversations, in that group, we began to discuss the need for help in our parenting and our marriages. So those kinds of experiences, as well as one of the other experiences was working with teachers and volunteering at elementary schools and hearing the cries of teachers and moms for more males to volunteer. And then another one came from my own faith, my own belief in a loving God, and believing that men were created to be servant leaders, to really help and cultivate and develop their environment. And then lastly, just the statistics that are out there, just from 2014, 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. 85% of all children who exhibit behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. And then this last statistic that I'd like to share, 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. So those are the types of things that have helped motivate me to want to start a program or an organization like this to help be a part of the solution.
What do you aim to achieve?
Well, we're aiming to achieve just, again, maximizing the resources that are out here that many families and men don't know about, to really help them to cultivate and develop authentic manhood, which again goes back to what I shared earlier, servant leadership, helping men to be servants in their families, with their families, as well as in the communities. And then again, helping families to develop and to grow and to be enriched by those services and resources that cities, communities provide for them.
Let's talk now about two of the programs that Men of Courage International have. One is called the Strong Dads program, and I think it reflects a little bit about what you said earlier, but could you give us some more detail about what the Strong Dads program is designed to do and what you've done with it so far?
Sure. Strong Dads is a program where we partner with the elementary schools, local elementary schools, and we take the time to encourage, support, and educate fathers on their roles of being involved in their children's lives at school and at home. And we provide an environment where there's a keynote speaker, there's live entertainment, and different activities to really give the tools to the fathers so that they can grow in their abilities to be a father. And this is for not just fathers who are struggling in their abilities to father, but also those who feel pretty good about where they're at, but they just want to add some more tools to the toolbox, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay. And then you have also a program called Community and Family Enrichment Corporation of Maryland.
Yes.
That's a mouthful, but
Yes.
what's that about?
Well, we try to condense it to CFEM, C-F-E-M, but
The old acronym.
A little acronym, yes. So that's about partnering with not just the schools, but also, and not just the elementary schools, but elementary through high school, as well as partnering with nonprofits, for-profits, and any other community organizations that enrich families. That program is specifically focused on helping families get the help they need that's free, that they don't know about, whether it's job training, young mothers getting help with their pregnancy, young fathers getting financial support or training on how to have a budget, tutoring for the kids. And things like that we offer in this program. And that's probably one of the programs. I'm fired up about both of my programs, but that one really brings the community together. At the last one we had, the police department showed up, the fire department showed up, the mayor of Annapolis was able to come and be one of the key speakers. And also the assistant regional superintendent of Broadneck and Annapolis was also able to be there. So we're really excited about this program because it really does bring the community together to enrich the families of Annapolis as well as Anne Arundel County.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell our viewers about some of the events that you have sponsored locally?
Sure. One of the events that we've sponsored recently is called Family Reunion. Okay. And Family Reunion has to do with working with, again, the school system, that community and the families within that community. Mm-hmm. And coming together and helping those families to experience a lot of fun, okay. A lot of excitement, a lot of games for families, for the kids, for the parents as well. But also information is presented there that, again, might encourage and strengthen and enrich the families. And Family Reunion, we love it because we have live entertainment, and it's a beautiful picture of the community being brought together. Mm-hmm. And connecting with one another on a level that maybe they wouldn't otherwise connect with, So.
Yeah. Any other events you want to talk about?
I think, as we shared before, Strong Dads, we are growing in our school partnership, and we just recently did one at Seven Oaks Elementary School in Odenton. And so we're really focused on Strong Dads and CFIM really impacting the whole county. Mm-hmm. And so we have events almost pretty much, in sections and seasons of the year. Mm-hmm. And those are the events that are happening constantly,
Right. Well, what specific, you've mentioned some examples already, but mm-hmm. could you give us sort of an array of the communities mm-hmm. in the Annapolis area Sure. that have been enriched yes. by their association mm-hmm. with Men of Courage International?
Yes. So the Rolling Nose Elementary School, we've been going strong there with our program for about almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. And many of the teachers, as well as the counselor, they have a new counselor there now, but the counselor has communicated, the guidance counselor has communicated the increase mm-hmm. in the father's involvements at the school. Mm-hmm. Georgetown East Elementary School as well, we were able to do the CFIM program, Family Reunion mm-hmm. there, and it was an amazing impact on the community with, again, as I shared before, members of the community coming out, the police department, the fire department, other nonprofit organizations that offer tutoring for the kids. And the kids and the parents that came were so enriched and so mm-hmm. looking forward to the next one. Mm-hmm. Not only just the families, but also the organizations. Yeah. They said to us, when will the next one be? We've also worked with different other groups, different community leaders, mm-hmm. Partnering with the Clay Street neighborhood mm-hmm. And Seeds for Success tutoring okay. program. And we've also connected and partnered with Volunteer Center mm-hmm. of Anne Arundel County. Okay. And so we're really excited about the partnerships that we're making mm-hmm. and that we're leading by example in what we believe in terms of it, we're better together, which is our motto, mm-hmm. that we're working with the community members mm-hmm. to enrich the families of Annapolis. You know.
And as you mentioned, your motto is bring together.
Yeah, better together.
Or I'm sorry, the motto is better together.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
No problem.
What do you actually mean by that motto, better together?
We've come to understand that no one is an island. No one is an island. We all get to where we are in life because someone else helped us.
Yeah.
Mom and dad, when we were kids, they changed our diapers, they fed us. We went to school, we were educated by teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers were helping us. We've all been helped by others. And somewhere along the line, we can sometimes, as we get older, forget that we actually really need one another to succeed. And so we at Men of Courage International, we really want to hold on to that truth that we cannot make our city of Annapolis great without working together, bringing all parts to one place and being on the same plane when it comes to greatness for our families and for our city, know. So better together really implies we've got to have a unity and we've got to see the good in each one of us so that we can move forward as a great city.
And you've got a very interesting logo for Men of Courage International, and we're going to let it appear on the screen right here. Could you interpret that logo for us
Sure.
and tell us what its significance is?
Sure. So you have this crimson color that symbolizes honor and courage.
Okay.
And we really believe that if we're going to tackle this main issue of ending fatherlessness, it's going to take a lot of courage. It's going to take a lot of courage, which produces honor, And also you have the three faces, and that you see the different races there. You see the different types of men there. And it's really trying to depict the fact that we need all of us on the same page in order to be great, And so we're striving to do that even in our logo and showing that, right? Then we have the shield.
Right.
And I love the shield. One, it looks cool, but I love it because it has to do with protecting. Something needs to be protected. And what as men do we need to be protecting? We need to be protecting our women and our children. And we need to be protecting the values that help us stay unified and help to make our cities great, So that's what the symbol is all about. It's really about unity, it's about protecting, and it's about being courageous in this fight against, ending fatherlessness.
We're going to take a break now, but when we return, I'll be talking some more with Darin Ford about Men of Courage International. Okay, we're talking today with Darin Ford, the founder of Men of Courage International. Darin, to what extent does your organization make use of volunteers?
Well,
and if so, in what way?
Well, in many ways. First of all, like in our Strong Dads program, we partner with the school, so there's a great opportunity there to come and be a part of, setting up the event, reaching out to different speakers that would be a source of inspiration for our fathers, and then activities that we tend to do with the fathers there that can help enrich and give tools. So that's there's volunteer opportunities in being guest speakers to enrich the lives of the fathers. And then in our other program, CFIM, there are multiple opportunities to volunteer, whether it is to be there at the event, being able to interact with the children that are there, being a part of the entertainment, as well as being a part of just meeting and greeting and passing out information from even other partner, nonprofit organizations that will enrich and help the families in our community. So there's many, many opportunities for people to volunteer, and if people are interested in volunteering, they can totally connect with us, and we will let them know how they can do that.
Okay. How does your organization derive its funding? Where do you get your revenues from?
Donations.
Okay. All right.
We function off of donations from our viewers, from our community members, and we are excited about, again, these types of partnerships that we're making with our communities, and we're so grateful for all those who've already contributed to our nonprofit organization. So yes. Yeah.
Okay. And what aspect of your work with Men of Courage International give you the greatest amount of satisfaction, Darin?
Wow, so many of the
just
aspects of it.
Tell us them all.
Well,
let's hear it. I mean, you have tremendous enthusiasm for your organization, and so let it shine by giving us some specifics about what really motivates you to work so hard for this organization.
Well, couple of things. As I read some of the stats earlier today, there are so many children that are without fathers, and that positive influence of males and male-like mentors. And so that motivates me to want to create and to design environments for men to get help with wanting, with being great fathers and enriching them. And when I see these men in our different programs get excited about being involved in the lives of their children, and not just their children, but also seeing other children as their own and wanting to help other children, that fires me up. That gets me excited. Also seeing the aspect of unity, community, experiencing, seeing the different components of our city come together for one cause, to strengthen the family members of our cities, human beings, human relationships, right? I get excited about there being this picture of family within the community. The police department working together with the hospitals, and the hospital working together with the mayor's office, and the mayor's office working together with the schools. I mean, the way that I believe, we all believe that it should be. So I'm excited that I'm a part of something that's really making a true difference in our city, and also making a difference on the most deepest level, I believe, and that is the level of reaching our children. But not only just the children, but reaching their parents. Because so many programs that are out there that are great, that are enriching our children and even our mothers. But I don't think that there's enough programs out there enriching the whole family as a unit, and specifically also programs that are really enriching the fathers, So it's exciting to know that, again, we are a part of the solution, and we're not the only ones, of course, but we're so excited to be a part of joining that group that's a part of dealing with the real issue and really strengthening our fathers and specifically our families.
Okay. Your organization is a relatively new organization, but I'm certain that you've got a vision of what you would like to see this organization develop into in the future, and programs and activities that you would like to see Men of Courage International promote here in the community.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit about that? Sure. This is the vision thing. What picture in your mind do you have of where this organization is going? What can it develop to be beyond where it is now?
Yes, yeah. I think in terms of location, I'm a Annapolitan. I was born here, and I think that it means so much to me that it just so happens that we incorporated our nonprofit here in my birth town, even though this was something that started when I was living in a different city.
Right.
So I think on the physical sense, the vision is to not just be here in Annapolis, but to really enrich the whole county.
Okay.
And to hit every school region with this message and with this program of enriching the families in those communities. I also think that, as I mentioned before, in our CFIM program, we really help to, provide job training and free opportunities along that line. And I really see that there's certain areas within our communities here in Annapolis where that job training focus needs to be more pronounced. So I see us in the future, really catering to communities and really helping them in very specific ways to enrich their population, their families, And I just talked to a gentleman recently where we're going to be working with them to bring that job aspect to their community because that's a huge need for their families, So we're excited about, again, physically growing, throughout the county and meeting this need for many cities and many neighborhoods. But we're also excited about getting even more specific with how to meet these needs in these communities and really helping them to deal with that felt need that they are experiencing.
The issue of fatherlessness has been one that's bounded around in the political arena for a number of years, and it does cross racial lines. Yeah. Although some of the organizations that I think have been most associated with dealing with men that come immediately to mind is the Million Man March, which was an event that was organized a number of years ago by the Black Muslims, by Louis Farrakhan's organization. Is one that comes to mind. And then there's the Christian-based organization Promise Keepers, which also deals with the same issue of the role of men in the family. Yeah. The theme being that men have been absent from family life. Now, in the case of Promise Keepers, that covered all racial groups. I mean, there was no racial content to that. So what they did was they basically said this is not a problem just for one racial group, but it's free for everyone. Yeah. Million Man March was more limited in terms of its focus, but the themes tend to be the same. Right. That men have got to step up to their responsibilities in the family, and that they're really not doing it right now. Right. How does all of that relate to Men of Courage International? To what extent are you do some of these activities resonate with what you plan, and to what extent does it differ in terms of where you're going? Sure.
I think you touched on something before, when you were talking about the differences between the Million Man March, and Promise Keepers. Yeah. And I think Men of Courage International, hence the word international, we really do believe that this is a global crisis, It's a global issue. It's a human being problem. And we want to, through our organization, not just tell dads you're not doing a good job. Or we don't even want to necessarily say that. But we want to say our message to dads and families is the message of we're here to help. We're here to serve you. We're here to educate you. We're here to give you the opportunity to be who you really want to be, okay? And that is, if you have a child, father, you are a father, And sharing examples of, I had a neurosurgeon come and speak on the idea, not the idea, but the facts that's recently been found about how a man's brain begins to respond to being a father. Yeah. That the parts of the brain that has to do with protecting and training become more active when a man becomes a father. And if men could hear that information, where if they're in an environment where they're told they're no good and they'll never amount to being a great role model or things like that, but yet then they hear this information, this factual scientific information that actually you're wired to be a trainer, you're wired to be a protector. how empowering is that? You know what I mean? And so, I think the comparison is, with Promise Keepers, it's not a race issue.
Yeah.
It's a human being issue.
Right.
Okay? And I think that we want to make sure that we're not just saying you're doing a bad job and you shouldn't be, but more of, we want to help you. We want to strengthen you. We want to educate you. We want to empower you to be servant leaders.
In the time that you've been working to build Men of Courage International, do you have any stories that you would like to tell of, without mentioning any names,
Sure.
specific men that you have seen that have really grown as a result of the activities of your organization? Again, just providing their stories,
Sure.
And giving our viewers a sense of an illustration of how you're really making a difference in the lives of men.
Sure. I was attending a volunteer appreciation event at a school where we have strong dads. And I was sitting at a table as the event was going on, and one of the mothers leaned over to me and said, by the way, my husband went to your last event, and he has never been the same. She said he's serving at the home, he's volunteering more at the school, and she said, thank you so much for what Men of Courage International is doing. So I know that from that kind of story, I know that people are walking away, men are walking away empowered and strengthened and hopeful for a new them, you know what I mean, in their situation. Even the guest speakers that we've had, one was a former military major, and he walked away, he had shared with me, had written a quote back to me saying that this enriched my life. He said, I walked away thinking, how can I do better? How can I be a better father to my daughters? And I think the list goes, there's so many stories of men who have walked away from our programs wanting to do more, and not just wanting to do more, but then actually signing up that night after our program for a volunteer opportunity in their schools. And then, of course, because we work with the school, I've heard many teachers come up to me, principals come up to me and say, thank you so much. There are more men in the school. Kids feel more secure. They're more excited. There's more, the behavior issues are lessening as a result of your program motivating the fathers to get involved.
Right. I'm sure that there are many viewers out there, including many fathers, who would probably want to learn more about your organization, Darin.
Yes.
How can they learn more about your organization? How can they get in touch with you about Men of Courage International?
Sure. Well, they can go to menofcourageinternational.org.
Okay.
And
that's all one word.
It's all one word,
Okay.
menofcourageinternational.org.
Okay. All right.
And there they'll find all the information they need to get in contact with us, events that we're having that are coming up, and ways that they can volunteer, and also, of course, donate to our cause and to our organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for viewing our program today, and please join us again on Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like to have more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, jot down the information on the screen. You can reach us at 410-263-7998 or by email at hrcommission@annapolis.gov. And check out our page at the City of Annapolis website. Go to www.annapolis.gov, click on City Government, then Boards and Commissions, and you can scroll down to the Human Relations Commission page. And always remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "We have flown the air like birds and swum the seas like fishes, but have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth as brothers and sisters."